Hello, and welcome to the Modern Romantic Podcast, where we celebrate and inspire romanticism through passionate people doing incredible things. Hi, I'm Trey, and I finally finished sewing my doublet. Hi,
Yay!
for those of you who have been following along on Instagram with all of my very long-term postings about it, it is a year and a half journey that I'm very thankful to be finished with.
Was it really
Uh,
that long?
Well, yeah, I got burnout halfway through, but that's not the point of this introduction. It's just to say we're done. It's done. And that's
Awesome.
what we're happy about.
You overcame burnout, which is huge. So congrats on that, as
Yay!
well as the doublet. That's
Power
huge.
through.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And that long, lengthy introduction just to say, and I'm joined today by my co-host, Emily. Hi, Emily.
Hi. This week I am not Trey. I am Emily.
Yeah.
Last week I
Uh,
was Trey, and maybe the week before too. I don't remember.
I think so. But yeah, overcoming burnout is a thing. And I would like to talk to our guest tonight about any times that he's experienced burnout. So, Emily, would you do us a favor and introduce our fantastic guest
I
today?
would. Today, I'm super excited to speak with violinist David Scott Binanay, who has played at the presidential inauguration and many other places. We'll dive into that. But welcome to the show, David.
Thank you for having me, Emily and Trey. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm looking forward to chatting with you all.
Thanks for
Yeah.
coming. Very exciting.
I think one of the most interesting things that when we started looking at you as a guest to have on the show is that you're not just a violinist, and like other artists that we've had, you are also a producer. You also help run an organization that I'm going to let you tell us more about.
Sure.
Um, my question that I always like to ask artists who do many, many, many things is, how did you get started? How did you come to find yourself in the current state of David Scott Binay?
Oh, wow. So it started when I was 5, right? And when I decided to play the violin. And um, I played violin, I played Carnegie Hall in the White House as a youth, and I had great opportunities with uh, rigorous studies and great teachers. But when I turned 18, I wanted to be in my brother's rock band. So I just started learning my blues scales. I quit classical music and I began improvising. I wanted to play my heartstrings because I had 4 open heart surgeries by the time I was 18.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
uh, that was a lot. That's a lot to unpack, maybe for another time. But I had 4 open heart surgeries by the time I was 18. I went off to Villanova, went off to school, came back, and when I was at school, I studied philosophy, and I knew I always wanted to come back to North Carolina and be in my band here. So I came back, didn't pan out with the band quite as I had hoped because of some more health issues with some mental health issues. And then I started a nonprofit, Music Over Mine, because I found that music was such a healing force that it was healing my mind in incredible ways. It was the catalyst for my recovery um, throughout my life. And I've been able to weave my health story and my music into my profession. So I do music and medicine now at UNC and at retirement homes across the state of North Carolina. We're at 9 UNC hospitals, and then another hat I wear is my music label, and we're a first party distributor, and I handle business admin for artists, and I record as well. So um, yeah, that's it in a short pitch nutshell. But um, I've been able to weave my health story with my passion music. And in 2018, I received a melody valve made by Medtronic. And in the next heart surgery I have, I'll receive the harmony. So
Oh,
I think I'm in the right lane.
wow.
That
Thus, the
Wow.
hashtag music is the medicine,
music
right?
is the medicine. Yeah, that's my hashtag.
Wow.
Wow.
That is
How perfect. Did you talk to them about that? Did you have that opportunity?
Which opportunity?
to talk to Medtronic about the names of their,
Right. I
like,
did not. No,
this
so
feels
then
like a commercial,
well, it was
possibly.
kind of, I was featured on their website, and
Oh,
they made a
cool.
little commercial about me during the pandemic, because I actually recorded an album called The Universe Gave Me a Melody,
Mm-hmm.
and it is sequential story about the entire melody valve procedure.
Wow.
So, um, yeah, so the inventor of the valve was a violinist. So,
Wow, that is so perfect.
Oh my
I,
gosh.
I was listening to your music. In fact, up until you jumped on the show today. And so I was jamming to it. And I was like, and I was wondering if, I was like, did he do the vocals too? There's something about, I'm assuming yes. Is that true?
not all of them. I had
Okay.
features as well.
Okay. Maybe I'd have to go back and look because I didn't
Sure.
have it. I was like getting my mic set up and I wasn't looking at the screen the whole time to see which song had featuring who at the time. But
Okay.
um,
Yeah, I do get a lot of features because
very cool.
I people that so I'm a master on my violin. You know, I can improvise in all my keys. I was Suzuki trained as a kid, so I you can play a song and I can just play along. And artists, singers, vocalists, MCs, they're masters of their crafts too. I'm not a master vocalist, so when I bring on my peers and the artists I know here in Durham, North Carolina, then they do really well. So I like to bring them on before I before I'll take the mic.
Very cool. That's how I felt, Trey, when we used to sing at work together. And I would be like, I'll just leave that up to you.
I just,
Are you gonna sample some maybe 16? Are you gonna sing for us today?
Ooh,
no,
No.
no, 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 not
Okay.
today. I have done.
what?
I look. I appreciate the opportunity. I've taken that before on prior episodes.
Okay.
He has.
If you've
That's
already
true.
done it, we don't you don't have to do it again. But
Hey, if I
No,
can do it for Jen Beaupre, you can do it for David Scott Binanay.
I also sang for
That
Jen.
also rhymed.
I also sang for
that
her
rhyme.
before the show.
That's clever.
You also did what?
I sang for Jen before the show started.
Yeah. No, I meant like, okay. I
Oh,
wasn't
on the
discounting that.
podcast. Okay. All right. We'll save that for later.
I'm sorry. You know what I'm going to do though? I'm going to take a picture of you and I'm going to put it on the wall over there so that when I turn, so it looks like I'm looking at you, I'll be looking at you because your face will be on the wall over there and I'll just be like,
We've got a
Trey.
little bit of a Brady Bunch thing going.
We really
Like that
do.
when we did the thing where we were like, it's a heart.
Yeah, you all practice that.
We
You
did it one
practice
other
that.
show. Yeah.
Okay.
So David, I really do appreciate the opportunity, but I really like to focus on our guests.
Sure.
Sure.
Oh,
No, and make sure that they you get the platform that you so
this
richly
is
deserve.
fair.
The thing that I really took away from you talking about your story and from what research that we've done is that you've kind of broken out from the classical music structure. And for someone who's like me, who's doing that a little bit now, exploring other genres, um, kind of one multi-part question. One, why open yourself up to other genres of music? And two, what have been some of the things that you've been able to do in these other genres that you couldn't do in classical music?
Yeah, so a lot of classical music, it's very regimented in a way where it didn't match my biorhythm in a weird way. So my heartbeat, with my murmurs and my valve issues, I don't have a 4/4 time. I don't operate in 4/4 as well. I mean, I can play in 4/4. I can walk the bass line. I can,
Hmm.
I can count. I feel the groove, but my natural creative flow is in some more odd timing. Um, that's not necessarily in that 4/4 time. So I really enjoy calypso rhythms. I really enjoy playing on making the two my one.
Mhm.
playing on the and, you know, just the violin. I found comping and filling and playing in the space is a lot more fun. Miles Davis said that too, right? You got to play in the space. The rest is the loudest note, and I just, when I was 18, the classical music wasn't translating my experience. I had already had 14, or excuse me, 4 open heart surgeries. So the classical music wasn't really translating what I was feeling. I was feeling a lot of blues. I wanted to cut loose and play my heartstrings, and I had to do that by searching other genres. What was the part 2 of that question again?
Oh, what's something inside of um, other genres that you've been able to do?
Mm. So, um, in high school, I listened to a lot of Dave Matthews, and I can do that better than Boyd can. I think, you know. Um, but I enjoy folk, but I've gotten into jazz because there's a big jazz community here in the Triangle, so
Mhm.
I can do jazz. I love blues. Um, I love rock. And then hip hop, I grew up listening to Dr. Dre, and um and my first hip hop CD was Biggie, Life After Death, and I I love all genres of music. I still love classical, you know. I listen to binaural beats, and I teach sound bath, well programmed classes at this mental health farm twice a week in Pittsburgh, North Carolina. So I listen to everything from lo-fi, hip hop, folk, jazz, and then in the retirement homes, I'm playing all the great American standards from Barbra Streisand to Frank Sinatra. So like, I'm literally playing every possible genre of Western music that I can think of, and my daily mix on Spotify is just incredible.
I bet.
Can you please make that public because I would love to like pick that
Ooh.
Spotify brain a little bit.
Sure, I didn't know you could make your daily mix public.
Um, if you cannot,
Oh,
then
I was gonna say
I'm
we
I
should
curious.
start asking for that.
I will admit I don't explore Spotify as much as I should, other than to listen to our podcast. Um,
You had to
Thank you
run it
for
up.
also being a listener, Trey.
but
Oh, I
I
can share
will.
it. I can share it.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
I think that'd be
Yeah.
fab. Will you let us share that with our audience?
Sure. Which one do you want? Number 3? That's a good one. Because the daily mixes, they'll organize them into genres for you.
Hmm.
But yeah, I could
Um,
I could share it.
You choose,
yeah.
Trey. I don't know what the
Um,
answer should be.
1 through
wh-
6.
let's do Mambo number 5.
Okay, let's see. Mambo number 5. That is the Beatles, Doors, STS-9, and more.
Oh, yes, please.
All right.
Okay, that's some contemporary
How
stuff.
fun. What a cool thing. Share with
Yeah.
us your playlist, and then we could put it like in the notes for the
Okay,
show if anybody's interested. I think that's fabulous. What a cool thing that morphed into.
But
need to make notes.
Did you see Trey's, or I mean Josh's message? Very punny, Trey.
thanks, Josh. the I mean, the reason I ask about a lot of the like what else you kind of explore and what you get out of that, I think it's so cool that you said like you weren't able to express the what you were going through inside of the music that you were accustomed to performing. Like you said, it's very regimented. So giving that space to something where you feel like you can connect to and that allows you that emotional expression, I think is it's important for many artists to explore something outside of their genre. um, so I'm always intrigued whenever I see multi-genre performing artists doing that and going around in those spaces. And with a somewhat, I am losing my words today. I'm so sorry. Um, but it's kind of with with a musical instrument set that you're not expecting to hear performing some of that music, do you ever get like people listening to that go, "Oh, okay," and they kind of like cock their heads at like, "Well, this is different, and I like this," like a new
Yeah.
experience?
Yeah, so I had one booking agent in Raleigh who wouldn't book me. She's like, no one will book a violinist. And
What?
so and so I had to do it myself. This was in 2019, before the pandemic, pre-pandemic, and I was gigging a lot of bars and breweries for my gigs to
Mhm.
supplement my 9 to 5. And
Mm-hmm.
when she's the only person that wouldn't book me. Everyone else was like, "Oh wow, this is amazing," and then I would always come back for repeat performances because people just love it what I do. Um, but she was like, "No one." She just judged off the bat. No one will book a violinist, a solo violinist at a bar. And she missed out on that 20%. So
I would say. Wow.
Seriously.
Just because she's never seen a violinist at a bar.
yeah, and she said, "Why don't you come to my open mic and perform, and then I'll decide." So I did, and of course, I said, "What do you?" The band was there. I was like, "What do you guys want to play?" And they're like, "Devil Went Down to Georgia." So I said, "Charlie Daniels, let's go." So I did, and then we went into a Dave Matthews two-step, and the whole house was just cheering, going wild. And I went up to her afterwards and said, "Well, what do you think?" And she said, "Well, I just don't think they would book you solo." So I think maybe I came off the wrong way. I don't know.
It's too hard to.
Too hard to tell, but it's in the past, so
Yeah. Oh, man.
it's
Yeah,
all right.
definitely in the past. We're not thinking that way anymore. Come on.
That's right.
No.
And I'm not really doing the bars and breweries anymore anyway, so
Cool.
I just I just don't have time for it because that when you get to my age, so the energy and time go down. So I am gigging every day pretty much, but I'm gigging during the day in the hospitals and retirement homes. So
Wow.
and then I do weddings and private gigs. I actually had my first gig of 2024 yesterday.
Really? What was
hmm
it, if you don't mind me asking?
So it was super cool. It was at a Durham Central Park,
Okay.
and it was for the Makers Underground Market. And I had a
Hmm.
band. I had Matt Laird from the national touring act Big Something
Okay.
on bass, and I had CJ Baker, who's a local drummer here. He played drums, and we had tracks and in-ears, and I had 4 MCs come through: Nate Harn, Riding Russell, Mayday, OJ, and Elvito. So I had 5 MCs. And so we did my original music, and then on the back half of each set, we did 2 sets. We used I think I'm okay to say this, but we used AI to
Okay.
pull stems from songs that were famous hip hop songs, but we got the original samples. So
Okay.
we separated stems, and we kind of did a remix,
Hmm.
and it was awesome. It was
What?
awesome.
It sounds. I can hear it in your voice.
Yeah,
That was awesome.
it was awesome. Yeah, and so uh, we did a lot of work in preparation for this,
Yeah.
but I want to. I could have been better on the guide tracks on the in ears, but you learn as you do these things. So
It
That's your
sounds like
perf
it was a. Oh, sorry, Trey.
oh, I was just gonna say that's your perfectionist talking. It was good. It
it
was
was good.
good.
Yeah, it was good.
That sounds like a great opportunity, and you got an amazing result from it, and you learned from it.
I learned. Yeah, all the boxes were checked after the show.
Yeah, very cool. You
Um,
said. Oh, go ahead.
nope, we're interrupting each other. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, speaking of performing, you said you started to say before the show something about how getting nervous before the show is an element for probably any artist who puts their artwork out there, whether it's before an art show or before you just put your art out there somehow or begin like any kind of public anything. We get nervous, and you said that you kind of like getting nervous. So I would like to know why.
Yeah, so I've been performing for so long that it's like another day at the office, feels like sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And when I get nervous, I'm like, oh, I'm entering into the zone. I'm going into like the focus in the zone. My body is having a chemical reaction. My neurotransmitters are firing, and I'm gonna go into the zone. My breathing is slowing. But if I'm just going in after my morning coffee and it's just my 9 to 5, then the gigs the gigs are different. But I was a little nervous yesterday, just a little bit, and I was like, oh, it's gonna be good. So I think it has to, like me, it has to do with more of like a physical thing that's happens that I know through science. When you get nervous, it's going to cause your adrenaline to go up, and you're going to perform better.
Yes,
I
I would
used to
agree with
get
that.
so nervous I would throw up before every show.
Oh my
Oh wow.
gosh.
Yeah,
I don't think
So
I've been that nervous. Or at
I
least
would get
never
really,
just okay, that's not fair because I think everybody reacts differently. So maybe I've been
yeah.
that nervous and I just didn't react in that way.
And I would lose my vision too. I get so nervous.
Wow, that sounds like it feels extremely nervous.
It was extreme. It was extreme.
That's an
But
extreme reaction.
mhm. but I was dealing with like some mental health things, and just a different my brain makeup was a little different, and so my body was just reacting differently. So I don't get nervous at all anymore, though,
How did you get over that? How did you get past
hmm,
that extreme level of nervousness to where you are now where you actually have an autopilot setting?
because like, what do you do every day?
Yeah.
I mean, I do it every single day.
So just repetition and doing
Repetition.
it anyway.
And I had a friend ask me the same question. I said, well, you just got to get better at your piano. You got to get so good at your instrument or your
mhm.
voice or your writing that you're so prepared that you can handle anything that comes. Like, I play with a big fish, a heavy hitter. I play with Shelly Markham, I'm really proud to say. And
Hmm.
he used to be on Frank Sinatra records, Carole King records, off Broadway. He was Laney Kazan's piano player. He did Boston Pops. Um,
Wow.
he's a big time. He's 80. I don't want to say his age. He's above 80.
Okay.
But we hang out. He just called me about an hour ago. I got to call him back after this. But he doesn't get nervous at all anymore either.
I
Because
imagine not.
yeah, he's been doing it for a while. I've been doing it since I was 5 years old. So I don't I don't get nervous.
So the nervous thing when it does happen and you look forward to it and you hope that it happens has to do with wanting to do well, wanting to perform
Yeah.
well, and being nervous keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, it's good. Like, you get that little bit of that adrenaline and that fight or flight. You get in the zone. They have
Yeah.
those zone studies now. I forgot what they don't call it, the zone. They call it something else. Flow states.
Yes.
That's what they call it. And there's a whole company out in California that does flow state studies with like Red Bull and stuff.
Hmm.
So
Fascinating.
yeah, it's pretty cool stuff.
I'm not gonna lie, I had an audition a couple days ago, and I lost my vision during that
See,
audition.
see,
It's But this is like a recurring thing, and it's something that I actually have on the docket to talk about with my therapist tomorrow, is like
wow.
stepping back into the world of auditioning again and performing in front of other people,
Yeah.
and observing that same sort of performance anxiety. So it's nice to meet somebody who has also been through that.
Yeah. So even one, there's two arguments. You could argue, oh, you just need to prepare more, but then you could also argue that you would get nervous anyway, no matter how much you prepared. But then if you get nervous before your auditions, then you got to book like 100 more auditions.
There you go. That's the key, Trey.
Yeah.
Keep doing auditions.
100 more
Yeah.
auditions.
Yeah, because for me, like that's my I forgot what Myers-Briggs it is, but
Yeah.
I'm the protagonist. So
Okay.
like I'm the hero of the story. So my personality traits. So like I like go in to the battle. I'm like leading the charge. So like if you get nervous, what I would do would I would like book more shows, book more auditions. If you want to combat the nervousness,
Mhm.
I don't know. That's what.
I
No,
have.
it's
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
a very quick story because I actually had a judge at a Nats competition that I did
Mhm.
just read me for absolute filth about the lack of preparedness on my part when I was performing a song. And
Mhm.
I was just so unbelievably nervous standing in a new location with a song that I had learned and perfected and had practiced out the yin yang, but it was simply because it was a new location and with unfamiliar people that I just completely lost all track of and sense of self. Um, I went on to win my section of Nats in spite of that judge. So
Hmm.
uh,
Yeah. So
that's
there, Judge.
in your face.
So
Uh,
I have a
go.
question though about this.
Mhm.
In the moment, you're in this or getting ready for this audition or whatever, wherever you were in the timeline of this event, and you lose your vision. At some point, you got your vision back because you drove home. So, at what
I
point?
yeah.
What brings that back? Are you able to? Because you recovered from that and
y- Yeah.
you pulled through.
Show's over. Show's over. When the show's over, you're like coming down. It's like I always think of like those old MTV videos of um Guns N' Roses and like talking about their rock style lifestyle after their shows.
I
And
just black out.
yeah, and like and how coming down after the show was always such a like not a letdown, but you feel it just peeling off of you
Mhm.
because being on stage is such a like out of body experience, and it's such a rush and it brings you so high.
Yeah.
And that after this performance, it's like you feel, I forgot what that's called in your body when you're regulating and you're coming down again, but um when the adrenaline is settling and you're returning to your normal state.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think my neighbor's mowing their lawn now. It's dark out. I don't know. Do you hear that?
We did, and I hear it sounds like a kind of a hum, but it's very
Okay.
small.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, don't worry
We're
about it.
good.
We're good.
Okay. So yeah, so I would you just come down, and my my girlfriend at the time, now my wife, would drive me home when I was gigging out a whole bunch. But
Mhm.
That makes sense. That sounds safe.
Mhm.
But like for you, Trey, what happened in that moment for you for your audition? Like did you just lose it for a second or was it like the whole audition's like dark?
Um, I would say for a couple of seconds, like I kind of black out, and then it's one of those of like kind of staying in the moment and staying with the song. Whenever I sense myself blacking out, is when I completely lose my technique. I start losing my connection to the song, and it just becomes a performance and not a like an experience for
Hmm.
myself. So I kind of caught it towards the end of the cut that I was doing. And so I like managed to salvage it at the very end of it. But yeah, for like a solid like 5 seconds, I don't remember what happened.
Hmm.
yeah, so mine would just go blurry, and we don't have to talk about the vision stuff too much, but I would my experience of it, it would hyper focus, and I would go blurry and hyper focus, and it looked like what I would imagine. an ant looking through a what an ant sees. It was weird. My doctors didn't really know what was going on. It would also happen when I cook pasta, the steam, I would imagine. So
Okay.
It's interesting.
That
yeah.
is fascinating. You know what I love anyway, though? You guys both did it anyway. You did it nervous. You did it
Yes.
blacking
Mhm.
out.
There you go,
You
Emily.
went through it, and that's kind of the point I was getting to. Like, at some point, you didn't run away.
Yeah. It's I don't know what that is or kind of what it's part of that conversation that I'm having with my therapist of like, there's something there, and let's talk about it. Um, but it
Mm.
comes with stepping out of your comfort zone and sensing like, okay, something needs to change. Here's how we're going to do it.
Hmm. That is. I like talking about this stuff because I want our audience to, like, I bet there are artists out there and people who get ready to go on stage and this happens to them and they're terrified of it, or it happened one time and it stopped them from doing it ever again. And
Mm.
I feel like this could be inspiring to somebody who maybe has the opportunity to go do it again, or maybe they don't have to hold back from whatever
Mm.
their art form is because of this, because
Yeah.
you can do it anyway.
It was a severe handicap for me for many years,
Yeah.
but I still went out there and did it anyway. But I got backstage to. Do you know who Nadja Salerno Sonnenberg is? The violinist, famous violinist. She was a
Mhm.
child prodigy and like playing Beethoven's concerto and all these amazing, beautiful pieces.
Wow.
Mhm.
I
I
no.
so I got backstage when I was 12 and got to meet her. Shake her
Cool.
hand, hand her flowers. She like signs the um a piece of paper.
Okay, I looked
And
her up and yes, I do.
you do know her.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I just
She was the wild
seeing the name
violinist.
what made it different. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So she thought she was signing her autograph, and then the next person in line, and I was like 12 years old. I said, "Excuse me, I have a question." And I said, "How do you not get nervous when you're on stage?" And she said, "Well, before I take every stage, I stamp my feet, and then I go out and do what I was meant to do." So I tell all my students to do that as well. And before I take the stage, I just stomp my feet and I just go do it.
Oh, I love that.
It's
Yeah. Just gonna shake it off and go do it.
I love that. At the art lab, I had this idea based on a post I think I saw on Pinterest or something where they had made a stencil of letters and it's in words and it said stand here to activate your superpowers, and I wanted to put it right on the sidewalk in front of the door to walk into the makerspace,
That's cool.
so right before you go in you can stand there to activate your superpowers and go in and make art. I'm still going to do it, I just haven't done it yet, but that reminds me of that. You just stamp your feet and this is what I was meant to go to. Oh, I love that so much. That's wonderful. Somebody clip that. I
um,
will. I'll do it.
okay.
Yeah. It's good.
I would say the question that for me, and it kind of leads into your nonprofit a little bit, is the using music for a healing purpose and with a lot of intention that's behind it, be it mental health, be it um, some other things that are going on through people's lives. Can you tell us a little bit about your nonprofit and how it ties into your life right now?
Sure. So I run Music Over Mind, and we have about 5 contractors that go out into retirement homes, memory care units, and rehab units
Mhm.
across the state of North Carolina. And we play for the residents there. And it's incredible because they come from a generation that listens. They know stage etiquette, they know theater etiquette. They'll stand on the side and wait till the song's over and then take their seats if I'm in the middle of a song. You can hear a pin drop when you're in the room, and it's really interesting to be a part of, um, to witness that level of attentive listening. They'll applaud your solos. It's really beautiful. It's my favorite gig. That's why I left the bars and breweries behind, because I was like, this is incredible. And it's only an hour typically, so I, I can do more in a day, and I just really enjoy it. And then also with the Music Over Mine, we host live interventional musical programming at in partnership with XCS and the UNC Center of Excellence, which is the mental health umbrella. And we um, do sound bath performances. We host drum circles, songwriting workshops, and I'm at a farm 2 to 3 times a week, a mental health farm in Pittsboro, North Carolina, and we're hosting these classes, and it's a magical place, to say the least. And then also, we sponsor clients to get them in the recording studio and just capture where they are in that moment. And then on top of that, I also am a director of a program at UNC called Door to Door, where we're at 9 UNC hospitals bringing music door to door to patient staffs, the staff and their caregivers in the hospital. So
Wow.
that's my main gig.
I mean, I've got to imagine that, like, you get a lot of warm receptions when you go to these different spaces. Am I interpreting that?
Oh, you nailed it. I always tell our donors that we're in the business of thanks, praise, and accolades, because we're impacting people in such a beautiful, powerful way. Um, it provides just a little bit of respite for such a difficult time being in the hospital. And during the pandemic, we were at the hospital every single day. We were even supporting the nurses and staff during shift change when we couldn't go in the hospital. But that was a very intense time, because
Yeah.
we were also on the front lines of the pandemic, being musicians. I remember being at a retirement home. You know, we lost a lot of residents in these retirement homes, but also we didn't know what was going on at the time. At the very same time when we were wiping down groceries, they were power washing the buildings, thinking that would stop it. And we were serenading the residents outside their windows because they were on lockdown in their bedrooms. It was
Wow.
pretty intense.
I had no idea that was going on at all as far as music for the residents in that capacity. It didn't even enter my mind, or and I now I
Well, I
kind
don't
of
think it was going on, but we were doing it.
right, but I
Music
mean
over mine
anyone.
were
Yeah,
doing
like I know that in homes like that, retirement homes and things, they have various programs with people coming in or bringing
it.
in
Mhm.
entertainment or whatever
Yeah,
at
every
times.
retirement home has activities coordinators.
Right, but I never thought about how that would have stopped or changed during the pandemic. It never even, you know, you,
Well,
yeah,
I would say 90% of them stopped, but I made it a point to continue.
the way you did it is to
Yeah,
do it anyway is I
yeah. Well,
so
oh, thank you.
amazing.
But see, also I think that's because of my patient advocacy, being a
Hmm.
patient myself. Like there wasn't really, I faced death as a kid. There wasn't really like not to do it didn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
So I was like, and I was like, we're going in there, like we're gonna support them because I know they need it. I've seen the look on their faces, and they need it. So we went in.
Yeah, it was just about how to make it happen,
Yeah,
not if.
yeah.
For me, I kind of wonder, you said that you are a patient advocate, and there are tons of people out there that I know that are music advocates. So I I wonder what are some ways that people can also become both patient and music activists when it or yeah, I'm going
Advocate.
to say advocates. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I wouldn't say I'm an activist. I try and but advocate, yeah. Well, get your story out. That's the main thing. I did a lot of public speaking with National Alliance for Mental Health. I did a lot of public speaking. A lot of the rehab centers and various nonprofits in the area I speak at, telling my story and sharing, just like what I'm doing with y'all, just sharing my healing journey. Um, I had psychosis in 2006, and it probably was from a lot of uh, trauma that was just as a kid. I was never scared as a kid, but that trauma went somewhere, and it probably in 2006 it all bubbled up, and I had a severe break. So, um, I'm married now. I have two babies. I have a full-time job, and I'm doing better than I ever have been. So, uh, healing is possible, but for a lot of people, they don't. In me, during the time in 2006, I didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel,
Hmm.
so to speak. Um, but mental health is a very dear subject and dear area of um, the healing world that I'm passionate about. So that's, I would say, how I'm a patient advocate. We crush stigma on a daily basis, and it starts within the home and your network, your friends and family, and then it trickles out to the public and your peer groups, and so I would say that's how I'm a patient advocate. And getting your story out is the main thing. You could do it on social media, but just having the courage to talk about what you've been through and supporting others that maybe have had a similar journey.
I I love the like plan of attack there. How do we also or how would you recommend that people also combine that with getting music into some of these spaces?
Yeah, so more and more people are entering the retirement homes. There's a huge industry that we need incredible musicians. There's a lack of musicians entering the space. There's a lack of, I think, music therapists in this space.
Mhm.
We are not music therapists. My team, we are just everyone on my team can play in all their keys, improvise in all the keys. They know they have a songbook of standards they can pull from. They're phenomenal musicians. We do bring in community members, but we don't. Um, like my team is everyone who is on my team is are better musicians than I am, and they're just I can't say enough about them. But I will say, if you want to be in the space of music and medicine, all you got to do is pick up the phone. All you have to do is pick up the phone, call a retirement home. Every hospital has a volunteer services, I would imagine. Call volunteer services, um, and just start booking. Just pick up the phone. It's that easy. Um, I I wanted to go to music school because I had already knew I was going to be a musician, and I asked my friend, well, who was in music school. I said, I want to be in music school. He said, why? And I said, because I want to play gigs. I want to perform. And he said, well, just pick up the phone. You don't need to go to school for that. So that's what I did. I just picked up the phone, called Hillcrest up the street, and I just sent him an email this week saying I'm going to have to stop playing at Hillcrest. So they've been so dedicated and loyal to what I do, but it's just I don't have time to keep playing at Hillcrest. So
I'm still, like, having performed there and giving your time and dedicating that towards sharing that passion with other people, like that is not time wasted at all. And I'm sure that anybody who gets to hear you is going to love your music just as much as they did. So it's a balance of time, yes, but it is in pursuit of it. Sounds like a very, very good goal. I'm curious, so how do you manage that time between all of these different things that you spearhead, um, while also performing?
Uh, you mean the administrative side of things? What,
I'm going to say everything.
everything?
Yeah.
Uh, Calendar, Google Calendar. Um, I've got a pretty. I thought about using that AI app to help with the calendar, but everything goes to the calendar. Yeah, it's just I'm, and the label. We haven't even talked about the label yet. I run a label too, so
Right.
it's I
Okay.
just work all the time. My weekends I've made for the family. Well, my wife has declared it's for the family, so I just work all the time. But if people want to donate to the programs, they can,
Mhm.
Okay.
because Music Over Mine, momoutreach.org or door to door nc.com, because we our programs are always we're in operations, but we could be at capacity without a doubt. But before I leave, I want to try and get $1 million investors to the programs, and then let them be handed down to someone else. I took over door to door from Joy Javits, who was the daughter of the late famous Javits senator,
Okay.
Mhm.
um, and she ran the program for 30 years
Wow.
prior to me taking over.
If there are any sponsors that are looking to get in contact, you can also email us at please sponsor us. We love you at theamodrom.com. But we'll definitely help put you in contact with David and his team. Um, with with taking over that, like, was it daunting to take over something that's been around for more than 30 years?
No, we've been. I mean, no, not really. We worked together for a while before
Mhm.
that, and she kind of semi-retired, so she handed it over to me, and we were working together closely for a while, and we're still close. She came to my show yesterday, um, but she, you know, did an amazing work, and I took it over in 2021, I think, and we've just running. We've been doing so much at the hospital. We've expanded 5 additional hospitals. We've done so many special programming. We have major partners, like 5 major partners. I'm on the board of UNC Neurostimulation now. We're planning a music series with the school of medicine. So we got some big projects coming on, and we're very excited about it. Um, so yeah, it's been good. We haven't slowed the program hasn't slowed down at all. We're just at operations. If we were at capacity, we could reach way more people, way more patients. Um, but we have a limited funds, and we do what we can with what we
Of
have.
course. Yeah. What great work.
Could not agree more.
Can you just for our audience and so we don't miss it, can you say the names of the places where people could donate one more time?
The Music Over Mind website is momoutreach.org,
Okay.
and the door to door website is doortodoornc.com.
Thank you. Okay.
And then you can just go to the donate pages.
Sweet.
And the door to door website will go directly. The donate tab goes to the official UNC Medical Foundation um, pay structure. So
Okay. So you also maybe I don't know if it's thank you, Trey. I don't know if it's on the fun side, But on to the perceived fun side, you played at that's I just wanted to bring it up since I mentioned it in the intro. You played at a presidential inauguration. Can you tell us
Uh,
about that experience?
sure. So, well, I played for the Clinton White House back when I was a kid, but then for the Joe Biden clean energy inauguration, we were able to play um, for that performance. We were on a Bosendorf. It was Shelley Markham and I. We played Strike Up the Band. We played Irving Berlin's Blue Skies, which was perfect for clean energy
Yeah.
inauguration. And we played, there was one more. I can't remember off the top, but
It's okay.
um, it was a virtual event actually.
Okay.
So everything was pre-recorded, and then we we were it was pandemic year,
Yeah.
right? So we were in this, oh gosh, it was a skyscraper virtual conference center. It was incredible. So we were in this big gathering room, and you had little avatars, and you could go around up to people at the bar or different tables. Billie Eilish was there, one of the artists. Neo was one of the artists, and there were breakout rooms in in this big room. So you would go into breakout Zoom rooms when you walk up to various tables and stuff like that. And then there were multi levels. I think there were like 20 levels. So there were people throughout this entire virtual space, like metaverse before it was the metaverse.
Sure. Wow.
Because the metaverse dropped right around that time, but
Okay.
it was very cool.
That's I feel like that's hard to wrap my brain around, but I get it.
Yeah.
So how do you perform? Like you're just sitting in like your studio and you're playing then?
So it was pre-recorded. So we were at this. Shelley knew this pretty awesome person with a friend of Shelley's
Okay.
who had a Bosendorf, which is a what $90,000 piano, right?
Wow, yeah.
And we wore our tuxes in this beautiful room, and we had our engineer there, and he filmed us, and our performance was better than a lot of the famous artists because everyone was on, pandemic lockdown at the
Yeah.
time.
Mhm.
So some of the famous artists were just like their cell phone and a guitar and singing, and we had incredible video. It's online.
Oh, okay. Oh,
It's
good.
online. Yeah, it's on my YouTube channel.
Cool. All right. I'm going to link that in the chat for those who
Okay.
I have it up
Yeah,
here
my
anyway.
YouTube. Yeah, it should be. You can't miss it. It's the one that says we're in suits. And
Okay. I got it. So that's incredible. I guess I didn't realize or think about the capacity in which you would have had to perform for that. So, huh. What technology has really changed the world. And I'm glad that you were able to do it anyway, because despite a pandemic, that's pretty great. Do you
For
I'm not looking at the chat. Should I be looking at the chat?
Oh, it doesn't matter. I
Okay.
it's
mean,
fine.
yes, there's right now nothing on there that's like
Okay.
Kaz joined our chat, which is cool. Hello, Kaz.
Hi, Cos.
I was trying to find the video to link it. I'm gonna link your channel though, at least, so people can find it. There we go. There.
For people that are looking to get into music, whether they be a new violinist, some other type of musician, what's something that you would say to someone that's just starting out?
Yeah. So stay away from the books. I don't the music theory. I don't know. I teach. I love music theory now, and I
Mhm,
think the books are great. I think Carl Flesch's scale book right here, right?
mhm,
I think they're really important. But I think the best way to learn is how I teach my students now. I get it straight from Victor Wooten's book, The Music Lesson, and it's just basically teaching music as a language. When I have a 1-year-old who's learning to speak, and we put guitars and drums in front of her, and she's already playing and strumming, and we never say, "Whoa, that's not it. That wasn't your A diminished scale." No, we're like, "Good job. Just strum those notes." And that's what she does. And learning to jam and learning to improvise and learning to just be in the groove and playing your instrument and learning as a language is, I think, way healthier than trying to enter into some theory books right away. Just sit. So I always tell my students that are going in a slump, that to just open up your case, pull out your guitar or violin, and just sit on the couch, lean back, and just sit with it. And then what do you think is going to happen in that hour that you're sitting with watching a show or something? You're just going to strum a little. There's going to be no pressure.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's really good. You should read that book if you haven't. Victor Wooten's. He has the sequel, The Spirit of Music, that I haven't read yet.
I'm gonna put it on. I'm gonna put it on my list of things to read. I always like having different perspectives.
Fascinating. I like the idea that doing it this way doesn't introduce limitations right up front. And that's something that I think giving someone the freedom to just dive in to however they would dive in. I really like that approach.
And you start with the foundation, which is rhythm and groove.
Okay.
So you dance first. You dance first. You got your rhythm and groove, and then in that you go 1, 2, 3, 1, and you just strum. But it all starts from the foundation, which is rhythm and groove. Notes are last. This is Victor Wooten's book. Notes are last, and notes is the only thing that they teach in school.
Yep.
Note theory. And that's the last thing you have. You have rhythm and groove. You have feel. That it's like the Jedi way. The first things, rhythm, groove, and feel, are the first things you need to establish. And then you add in time, and then you add in dynamics, and then you add in trying to think. There's so many more elements of music that happen before even the first note is played. And then, but all we have in school are the notes. So I don't know.
As somebody who was in music school, 100% agree. They teach you music theory for, at least in my university, they taught it for the first 2 years. And then as soon as I walked out of that theory class, every other piece of music that I learned completely broke all those rules. So,
right.
Yeah.
And Kaz in the chat said, "I wish I could do that with bagpipes." I don't know what you mean by that, but
I think that appeared when she was when we were talking about just sitting on the couch and strumming.
Oh yeah.
Oh right. Yeah. That'd be loud.
Right.
I want bagpipes at my funeral, so. Yeah, definitely. And maybe some flaming arrows.
Oh, that would be cool.
Oh, that would be really cool.
I bet Josh could arrange that. Josh being an archer and all.
He's an archer?
Yeah, we've made flaming weapons for various photo shoots, including flaming arrows.
Cool.
So yeah, he said, "I can hook you up with flaming arrows." I mean, he'll be dead by then, so you better hook up sooner than that.
Wait, Josh will be, or me?
No, well, Josh said, "I can hook you up with flaming arrows." He's Archer 33X in the chat.
Oh, okay.
He's our moderator guy.
Oh, right,
met,
Josh.
So,
yes, I met him. He's not much older than I am. I'm old.
We don't know. We don't know.
He is up. He is in upstairs. You said.
He is upstairs. Yeah. Well, I'm like 75.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not.
Thank you for calling her out.
Yeah, just call me out on that. It's a blatant
I think we're all about. I think Trey is the youngest, and I'm in between. You might be older than me, Emily.
Oh my gosh. I do not want to discuss our ages.
We don't have to.
No.
I don't want to upset the moderators.
Like, I'm absolutely okay with discussing all of this. Yes, I am.
I'm happily 41.
Oh, I love that so much.
Yeah, I'm happily
You
41.
made my whole week.
Why? Are we the same age?
I am definitely older than 41.
Yeah, that's what I said. And Trey's younger. And
How dare
Josh
you?
and
Okay.
Josh is older than all of us.
I believe that may be true.
Yeah.
I believe that to be true, yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't think I've ever talked to Josh about his age, and I don't think I've ever
We don't,
thought to
'cause it
ask.
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Because if I'm
doesn't.
75, that makes him like 78 or something.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Kaz said, "Oh, we can bring David to the photo shoot." Okay, so we have this photo shoot idea that we've been working on for a couple of years now, and we're going. It's evolved over time.
Okay.
I do photography, and I do like big epic fantasy scene photography, and I
Very cool.
take elements and make it real for the people who are in the photo. So it looks like a lot of it looks like AI, but it is not. And
Okay.
so it's an experience, and we decided to create this whole like maybe weekend experience for all of these photo shoots at maybe a castle somewhere or some big
Ooh.
event space where we can hang out for the weekend. And then we were going to have all these castle related for the photo shoot, you know, a theme. So Kaz was bringing the horses, and now I guess bagpipes based on what what I'm reading. And we had other people that all of our guests are invited.
Okay.
And so, like, bring your art form, and we'll have a fantastic weekend. Everybody in this really fabulous castle, hopefully. And then it was like, at one point, it was a challenge with Jasmine and Carlos from Black Fede, because they were like, "Ooh, we want to do this. We want to get a castle too." And then the next year, they got a castle for their event. And
Wow.
so that was really great. We applaud them. They did it.
Mhm.
So I think
I've got a really cool scar for a photo shoot. That's all I'm thinking.
okay.
I
Oh,
got
interesting.
the
Yeah,
surgery
you
scar.
do. Oh.
Yeah, that could be cool.
Yes, it could.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Thank you, Kaz, for that. I think we should make this happen, and of course, you're
Yeah.
invited too.
Okay.
And that would be fabulous. We've got. I don't know. I don't think I could outfit all the guests. I don't have that much garb, but I have quite a bit because I come from a costuming background as well. But Trey, now that you've got this new doublet done, maybe you have some extra garb as well.
I do actually, and I need to finish a kilt. But as soon as I'm done with that, I could start working on other pieces.
The kilt. Yes.
Yes, kilt.
Think about what you'd want to wear, David, and we'll figure this out.
Okay.
We need to actually just plan it.
Where's there a good castle in the States? Oh, Biltmore.
Biltmore would be cool. I don't know if they would allow us to do.
They
such
would
a thing.
not. They would
No.
not.
There is a castle I know we can rent like the whole thing in. It's in Illinois.
I used to live in Illinois.
Yeah.
There's a lot of serendipitous connections.
Yeah, it is. Rockford, Illinois, is where the castle is.
Okay. Okay.
I've been there a couple of times. But we could like rent the whole castle for the weekend. We're gonna have to look this up. Also, we could maybe just get the castle that Jasmine and Carlos got.
Yeah.
Anyway, Kentucky has a castle, Kaz said. All right.
We will not be short of castles, and the good part is we could do it like every other year or something, and choose a different castle takeover.
I wonder how we can find the time to plan such a thing. We're gonna do it though. We have to. We've talked about it. We've brought it up to like every guest at this point.
Okay.
We need to just do
I'm
it.
in.
Oh, thank you.
Me
I'm
too.
so happy. Hooray. It's gonna be so fabulous.
Oh,
So yeah, you're in, so I will help outfit you, and we can think about what you'd want to like, what vibe you'd want to have, and
Okay.
garb.
I'd bring my
Uh,
violin for sure. This is my axe.
Oh, I love it.
Oh.
I love where this is going. Very good. Kaz said, yes. Oh,
Nice.
and
Um,
Sandra said Pythian Castle in Springfield, Missouri. We're gonna have to look up castles and just decide on one that's affordable and do a fundraiser.
yes.
Castle photo shoot fundraiser.
A 24-hour live stream event. Donate. Uh,
Not a bad idea.
I was partially joking, but we can talk about it. David, I have one last question for you, and this
Sure.
is like at the top of the episode we talked about with my doublet that I had experienced some burnout, and I want to kind of get back to that question that was looming before we got started. Have you ever experienced burnout doing all the things that you do, and how do you overcome that?
Hmm. Um, well, with practice, I learned to observe myself getting better.
Hmm.
And so I think with the violin, I'm constantly evolving and getting better. So I don't think I burn out on that. There was a period of time where it was I changed. The violin never changed. I changed, and then the violin was more silent, I guess. I didn't play it as much because I was so different. But my dad kept encouraging me every day, just pick up your violin. Just can you play me one song? My Ask and Farewell, my favorite song. So I would play him that song, and and that's when I was really down and low, and the violin was sad when I played. But over time, it just started to open again, and it took years. But I I just haven't. They say like your instrument will never cheat on you, right? Like your music doesn't never cheats on you. So um, the music is always faithful to you,
Hmm.
but we go through ups and downs, so I think having the space to honor your own cycles and your own seasons and your own rhythms is okay. And so burnout burnout is a little different than honoring your own seasons. Like burnout is like when I work 70 hours for weeks straight and then I have nothing left in the gas tank and then we're just done. I'm burnt out. So if that's the case, you need to take some time. But I don't think, I do get burnout from invoicing, I think, but administration I think I get burnout from. But even if I was doing like something with my hands, if I was sewing,
Hmm.
Hmm.
I feel like you learn the technique, but then you learn how to do it even better and better, right? You learn how to make different changes, different moves to do to achieve your purpose in a more masterful way. And I think that's the pursuit of art and why we do art. For me, you know, I I studied a lot of Plato and the forms and like virtues in the sky above us. I love that those kind of classic philosophers
Hmm.
and yeah, I get tired. I wouldn't necessarily say I get burnout. So I don't know if I'm suited to answer that question as well as you would
I
like,
think you
but
did though. I
You
think you
did.
still answered it. Yeah.
okay.
It's the
So
thing.
open-ended.
But I love the way that you described it, of you changing, but giving yourself the space to change and express that. It's going to be a different thing when you go back to it because you have changed. And I love the way that you describe that and giving yourself the space for that sort of change to take place. And you're right, music does not ever cheat on you. But if the music that's currently sitting in the folder behind me ever does, I know where you live. Um, I will come find you.
That's
Uh,
funny.
so I think that's a beautiful way to kind of express that. And a different perspective of burnout is maybe that you're just tired and that you're changing, and that maybe you just kind of need to give yourself that space.
Yeah, but I do think coming in my 40s. I do think this is like, to quote one of my favorite local rappers, this is game 7. I think, all my infrastructure across my 3 projects / companies are built, and we're going to do great things from here till I ascend or make the grave. I don't know, make the grade. So I think we're going to do great things from here on out, and I'm going to see this through to when I never retire in America.
Right. Well, speaking of watching you doing great things, where can our audience follow you and support you?
Yeah, so I guess the best ways would be Instagram, and
Okay.
it's at David Scott Violin,
Okay.
and my label is thevcg.io. And then the websites we had shouted out before, but I'm also on Facebook. I don't post as much to Facebook. It all comes from, I guess, Instagram, and then
Yeah.
gets sent over. But yeah, David Scott Violin, Instagram would be my handle.
Okay. And it's davidscottviolin.com for your website, so you can
Yes.
find links to all of your social media and YouTube as well.
David, I want to say, talking to you about your music and what you do for not only the local community, but the community at large with all of your different projects and advocacy. I'm going to make sure I get that correct. And your advocacy is really, truly inspiring. And I'm so glad that you said yes to being on the podcast, and that we got to experience the amazing person that is you.
I appreciate that, Trey. It's been a pleasure talking and speaking with you and Emily. And if I ever get the call again, I'll be back in a heartbeat.
Yeah, we'd love that.
Please. And I have some ideas for some photo shoots for the castle that would involve a really, really badass shot with you in the violin. So we'll talk. We'll talk.
Yeah,
Castle
sounds
or
good.
not, I want to make that happen. That sounds awesome. I'm just coming to Durham at this point.
Yeah, I do gig in Charlotte sometimes too. So
Oh, yeah?
I'll let you know.
Do you?
I do,
Oh,
yeah. I mean, Charlotte used to pay triple of the amount as much as it did here, but now everything's caught up, I guess.
Well, if you ever, the next time that you come down to Charlotte, please let me know.
I will let you know.
Yeah.
For
Yeah,
sure.
that'd be great.
I used to play Camp North End.
What is that?
Are you really from Charlotte?
I've heard
Okay.
that.
Okay.
But I don't Camp North
Shots
End?
have been fired, sir.
How long
Camp North
ago?
End. It's the art district in Charlotte. Like the
Okay.
artsy, like,
I thought that was Noda.
oh, Noda too. Noda's more like the hippie Asheville-y vibe.
Okay, since I left, Noda was like the big thing, and then there was
It still is.
the where is it? Where Common Market was. That area was booming too.
Yeah.
I see Camp North End. I
Yeah.
think the problem is I've been gone for 4 years,
been
and
gone too
I
long.
was not aware of this.
Yeah, Camp North End's really cool. I used to gig there a lot, and one of my producers lives in Noda.
And the Music Factory was another place that was kind of hopping. I don't
Uh-huh.
know if it still is.
I don't know if it is either.
Last I heard, to an extent, I don't go so much up to the up there as much as I did, but I heard it's doing okay.
I love that you went right into, are you even from Charlotte? That's wonderful. I love that. I was like,
I'm just busting your chops.
wait, how disconnected have I become? I needed to go look.
That's so funny.
Cabin
I'll
Order.
actually be in Rock Hill. I think we're planning a trip in 2025.
Oh, all right.
Your old
Nice.
stomping grounds. We'll go to Men's Warehouse.
Yeah, Yeah, that sounds really exciting. I'll meet you there, and I'll
Okay.
just be like, "Hi, work here."
Yeah.
I work here.
Funny.
Oh, this is gonna be great.
I love it.
Well, David, thank you so much for being on. We're gonna have more barrel laughs after this. I know that
Yes.
we are.
We're gonna be in
Um,
touch.
But as we close this incredible episode out tonight, this episode, along with probably every other episode from here on out, will be dedicated to Joe Capone, our moderator, fellow comedian, passionate encourager, and greatly missed friend. You can find us pretty much wherever you tune into podcasts. For updates, announcements, and more, follow us on social media under Modern Romantic. Thank you, everybody, and continue to question me on whether I live in Charlotte or not.
But do you
Have a great
even live
night.
in Charlotte?
Good night.